Drumline was special, man. It still is special. I knew nothing about chorus-style marching, but I said I did to get the job. Like, I never get things off of auditions, and I kept having to go in because I was so green. I remember I might have went on that like 5 or 6 different times.
You know the movie. You've seen Devon Miles flip those drumsticks 1,000 times. You've heard one band, one sound echo through your speakers. But did you know that Drumline almost never happened? That 2 of the most legendary HBCU bands flat out refused to be in it? That the studio literally paid $5 million to add a white character? Hollywood didn't want this movie. The bands didn't trust it. And the actors? They went through actual hell to make it real. This is the untold story of Drumline. 20 facts that will completely change how you watch this film. Let's get it. Fact 1. The movie is based on a Grammy winner's secret past. Before Dallas Austin had Grammys on his shelf, before he produced hits for Boys 2, TLC, Madonna, and Michael Jackson, he was just a freshman drummer at Columbus High School in Georgia with one massive problem. He couldn't read music. His older brother Claude was the section leader. When Claude graduated, Dallas should have been next in line. Talented kid, incredible rhythm, natural ability. But the new section leader saw him as a threat. The hazing started. The attempts to expose him intensified. Sound familiar? That's Devon Miles. That's the entire plot of Drumline. Austin lived it. The fake-it-till-you-make-it mentality. The natural talent versus technical training conflict. The clash with a section leader who wanted him gone. Every major beat of this movie came from Austin's real high school experience. In the early 1990s, he pitched it to Fox. The executives looked at him like he was speaking another language. What's so interesting about marching bands? Austin brought footage from a high school battle of the bands at the Georgia Dome. Thousands of screaming fans. Energy like a rock concert. Precision like the military. The executives got it. They greenlit the project. Then it disappeared for almost a decade. Fact 2. The movie sat in development hell for 8 to 10 years. 8 to 10 years. Let that sink in. The script was written. The story was ready. And then, nothing. The project collected dust.
8 to 10 years. That's how long Drumline waited to get made.
Austin called Quincy Jones, the legendary producer, looking for advice. Jones gave him a brutal reality check about how Hollywood treats black stories. Years crawled by. The script aged. The dream faded. Eventually, Austin reconnected with music executive Jody Gerson, who brought in Wendy Feinerman, the producer behind Forrest Gump. They took the project to Elizabeth Gabler at Fox 2000. Austin pitched again, but this time he wasn't trying to get it made. He was trying to get the rights back. He wanted to take it somewhere else, anywhere that would actually produce it. Gabler surprised him. "We've got to make this movie. One condition, though. Move the story from high school to college. Start the script from scratch." That rewrite changed everything, but it also meant throwing away nearly 10 years of development. Fact 3. The original script featured a white school. Here's something that'll blow your mind. The first version of Drumline was about a black kid going to a white school in the Midwest. Completely different movie. The premise was fish out of water. Talented black drummer brings the funk to an uptight suburban band. Think Save the Last Dance meets marching band. Director Charles Stone III read it and immediately passed. He didn't like the racial implications. Didn't want to tell that kind of story, especially not in 2001. 6 months later, the script came back completely transformed. Now it was set at a historically black college in the South, traditional show-style drumming. A whole culture Stone had never encountered before. He went to a summer training camp to research, watched students wake up at 4:30 in the morning, saw them grind all day, treated like athletes, like celebrities. The dedication was insane. The discipline was military grade.
Section leaders, what is our concept?
One band, one sound.
One band, one sound.
That's when Stone had his eureka moment. This wasn't a band movie. This was a sports movie. Top Gun with drums. Friday Night Lights with snare lines. He signed on immediately, but the studio had other ideas about who should be in it. Fact 4. The studio demanded a white character for $5 million. The budget was set at $15 million. Stone wanted $20 million to do it right, to capture the scale, The energy, the spectacle of HBCU band culture. The studio had a condition that's almost unbelievable in retrospect. Add a white character. Their reasoning? Without a white face, this was an urban film. Couldn't market it to wider audiences. Couldn't get the crossover appeal they needed. Stone pushed back hard. This was an HBCU story. This was black excellence on screen. Adding a token white character undermined everything. But business is business. The studio was clear. You want the extra $5 million? Create a white character. Stone eventually had to compromise. His exact words: "In order for me to get the additional $5 million, I had to create a white character." Dallas Austin found the solution while scouting on the Morris Brown campus. A white kid with red hair playing cymbals. Grew up in an Atlanta neighborhood. Always wanted to be in the band. It was authentic, at least. That became Jason Felker, played by GQ. The $5 million compromise. One white drummer bought an entire movie its proper budget. Does that make you uncomfortable? It should. That's Hollywood in 2002. Fact 5. Leonard Roberts was genuinely sick during the final scenes. Sean Taylor, the senior drum section leader, the wall standing between Devon and everything he wants. Leonard Roberts played him with perfect intensity, intimidating, disciplined, unyielding.
You want to prove once for all that I'm better than you? Strap up.
Bring it on, big brother Tin Man.
But watch the final scenes closely. The BET Big Southern Classic, the championship in the Georgia Dome. Roberts looks different, sweaty, weak, struggling to stay upright. That wasn't acting. Roberts was genuinely sick during filming. Really sick. We're talking should not be alive level sick, according to his own words. The production couldn't stop. 2 days in the Georgia Dome, over 50,000 extras, a schedule that couldn't accommodate illness. So Roberts pushed through. Every bead of sweat on his face, real exhaustion. Every moment where he looks like he might collapse, real illness. The performance you see is a man fighting his own body just to finish the movie. Later, Roberts called it one of the badges I got from the production. He's thankful to be here, and we're thankful he pushed through because his performance is iconic. But it makes you wonder, what else happened on that set that we don't know about? Fact 6. Lil Wayne, T.I., and Kerry Washington all auditioned. The casting process was absolutely stacked with future superstars, people who would go on to dominate music, film, and television. Lil Wayne auditioned for Devon Miles. So did T.I. Both rappers wanted the lead role. Dallas Austin said, "T.I. represented another part of my character, but felt Nick Cannon was closer to who he actually was as a teenager. Talented but not overly cocky. Hungry but teachable." The final decision came down to Nick Cannon and Lee Thompson Young from the famous Jet Jackson. Cannon got the call. For Sean Taylor, Stone wanted Khalil Kain from Juice. The studio pushed for Leonard Roberts. Stone fought for Kain but eventually gave in. Roberts got the role. And here's the kicker. For Layla, it came down to Zoe Saldana and Kerry Washington. Stone said both were fine as all hell, but felt Washington's technique was a little too refined at the time. Saldana had a rawness, a realism he preferred. 3 future megastars. None of them got cast. Can you imagine Lil Wayne as Devon Miles? T.I. leading the drumline? Kerry Washington as Lila? The movie would have been completely different. Maybe better, maybe worse. We'll never know. Fact 7. Nick Cannon slept with drumsticks tied to his hands. Here's the problem Nick Cannon faced. He wasn't a drummer. He'd played a little as a kid. Nothing serious. Nothing close to what the movie required. Devon Miles was supposed to be a prodigy, someone who could go toe-to-toe with real HBCU drummers. So, Cannon trained obsessively. His drum double was Jason "Snoop" Price, a real drummer from Florida A and M's Marching 100, one of the best drum lines in the country. They practiced together in Cannon's hotel suite, hours and hours, day after day. Cannon carried drumsticks everywhere, beat on tables in restaurants, flipped them in the air walking down hallways, worked the practice pad until his hands cramped. And at night, he tied the drumsticks to his hands while he slept. Not a metaphor, not an exaggeration. He literally tied drumsticks to his hands so his muscle memory would develop even while unconscious. The goal was simple: no faking it. While Jason Price stepped in for the lightning-fast close-ups and complex solos, Nick Cannon refused to use a double for anything else. When you see those massive wide shots of the final battle in the Georgia Dome, that's really him. Every stick flip, every step, every beat of the choreography. By the time cameras stopped rolling, Cannon wasn't just an actor anymore. He was a member of the line. That level of commitment is rare in Hollywood. That level of dedication is why the movie still feels authentic 20+ years later. Fact 8. Zoe Saldana had zero hip mobility. 2 years before Drumline, Zoe Saldana starred in Center Stage, a movie about ballet dancers. She was trained in classical technique, pointed toes, perfect posture, the rigidity of European dance. Then she got cast as Layla, head dancer in an HBCU marching band. Different style, different energy, different body movement entirely. Saldana admitted the truth in interviews. She had no mobility in her hips. Ballet doesn't teach you to drop it low, doesn't teach you the bounce and shake of Southern dance lines. That's a whole different language, a whole different culture. She trained with choreographer Glenda Morton, drilled the routines until muscle memory kicked in. By the time filming wrapped, Saldana said she could drop it like it's hot. She almost didn't get the role. Kerry Washington made it to the final round. Stone had to choose between two future superstars. He picked Saldana for her realism and her chemistry with Cannon on screen. Good choice. Saldana is now the highest-grossing actress of all time, over $15 billion at the box office. Avatar, Guardians of the Galaxy, Star Trek, Avengers. Drumline was just the beginning, but it required her to completely transform her body's movement vocabulary. That's not easy. That takes humility and hard work. Fact 9. GQ's hand ripped open during filming. Remember Jason Felker, the white character the studio demanded, played by the actor GQ? He arrived 2 weeks early with Nick Cannon. Intensive drum training every single day. No breaks. Learn the instrument or look like a fool on camera. GQ was assigned to bass drum, different technique than snare, heavy mallet work, repetitive motions, over and over and over. His hand couldn't take it. The skin ripped open, blood everywhere. His drum was covered in it. His exact words, "My hand had ripped open. My drum was covered in blood. I had a big gouge taken out of my finger from the repetition of using this mallet." Most actors would stop, call for a medic, take a break. GQ finished the sentence differently. "I played through that. That's the level of commitment this cast had. That's the culture of HBCU bands bleeding into the Hollywood production. You don't stop, you don't quit, you push through." Fact 10. Florida A and M, and Southern refused to participate. The BET Big Southern Classic, the fictional championship at the end of the movie. Real HBCU bands showed up to film it. Bethune-Cookman, Clark Atlanta, Grambling State, Morris Brown. Legends of marching band culture, all present, all accounted for. But two programs were missing, the two biggest names in the game, Florida A and M's Marching 100 and Southern University's Human Jukebox. Both received invitations, both declined. Same answer from both schools, word for word. "Thank you for the invitation to participate. However, we don't lose. Not in real life, not in fiction." Read that again. They refused to appear in a movie where they lost to a fictional school. Didn't matter that it was Hollywood. Didn't matter that it was just a story. Didn't matter that millions of people would see their bands on screen. Their pride wouldn't allow it. That's how serious HBCU band culture is. The movie shows it. Those two programs lived it, still living it. We don't lose. Period. Can you imagine having that level of institutional pride? That level of competitive fire? They turned down a major Hollywood production because the script had them losing. That's not arrogance. That's legacy, protection. Fact 11. Morris Brown beat the actors in the first rehearsal. The final drum battle. Atlanta, A and T versus Morris Brown. The climax of the entire movie. Everything building to this moment. One problem: Morris Brown's drumline was real. The actors were not. First rehearsal, Morris Brown destroyed them. These were seasoned drummers at the end of their marching season. Tight, polished, professional. They'd been playing these cadences for months, perfecting every stroke, every accent, every visual. The Atlanta A&T drumline was built in weeks. Actors holding sticks, learning rhythms on the fly, pretending to be something they weren't. Charles Stone III saw it happen. His exact words: "The first time we did the scene, Morris Brown kicked Atlanta A&T's ass." Stone was furious, jumped down Leonard Roberts' throat. Roberts jumped down his section's throat. The whole team went around the corner in the Georgia Dome, found a quiet spot, and went to work. New cadences, new choreography, 11th hour changes. When they came back, the tension was real. Cast and crew could feel it crackling in the air. The actors stopped speaking to Morris Brown. Not acting, real animosity, real competitive fire. One crew member said it best: "Our boys are going to war right now, and we're getting to watch it." That's the energy you feel in the final battle. That's why it works, because the competition was real. Fact 12, the drum attack was a real surprise. The most disrespectful moment in the movie: Morris Brown's snare line walks up, plays on Atlanta A&T's drums, throws down their sticks. In drumline culture, that's beyond insulting. That's warfare. You don't touch another drummer's instrument, ever. Charles Stone III planned it carefully, told Morris Brown exactly what to do, rehearsed it with them in private. He did not tell Atlanta A&T. When it happened during filming, the reactions were completely real. Nick Cannon, Jason Weaver, the whole line, genuinely shocked, genuinely angry. You can see it on their faces, the disbelief, the rage. Jason Weaver's words: "We were shocked. We took that as a real insult. That wasn't acting." Stone ambushed his own cast to get authentic emotion. Let them feel the disrespect in real time. Captured it on camera. The response you see: A&T throwing down their sticks, pulling out another pair, finishing the routine. That was choreographed. But the anger behind it, the fire in their eyes, that was real. Stone played his actors to get the performance he needed, manipulated them emotionally for authenticity. Is that genius directing or unethical filmmaking? You decide. Fact 13. 50,000 extras filled the Georgia Dome. 2 days. That's all the production had to film the BET Big Southern Classic. The budget couldn't handle more. They needed a crowd. A real crowd. Couldn't afford CGI. Couldn't afford camera tricks. Needed bodies in seats. So they put out the call. Atlanta answered. Over 50,000 people showed up.
Today's BET Classic brings in over 50,000 fans to the Georgia Dome and an even bigger television audience.
Unpaid extras. Just wanted to be part of the movie. Wanted to see the bands perform live. And what a show they got! Stuart Scott called the event from the booth. The ESPN legend lending credibility to a fictional championship. Lou Cantrell sang the national anthem. Ajay and Free from 106 and Park were the MCs. P.D. Pablo drove a Bentley onto the field and performed with Morris Brown's real band.
It all started 40 years ago with two Atlanta bands, Atlanta A&T and Morris Brown College, putting on a small competition.
Raise up energy in a packed dome. Real HBCU bands everywhere. Morris Brown, Clark Atlanta, Bethune-Cookman, Grambling State. The Georgia Dome became a cathedral of sound. 50,000 witnesses. 2 days of filming. One legendary sequence. Most of those people have no idea they're in one of the most iconic marching band movies ever made. They were just there for the experience. The energy, the culture, that authenticity translates on screen. You can't fake 50,000 people. You can't manufacture that atmosphere. Fact 14. The actors went through real band boot camp. Don Roberts ran the Southwest DeKalb High School Marching Band, one of the most respected programs in Atlanta.
Be joined by Mr. Don Roberts, former drum major of the Marching 100.
When production needed someone to build a fictional HBCU band from scratch, they called him. Roberts didn't treat the actors like Hollywood stars. He treated them like freshmen. His words, "I feel like I owe them all apologies. I didn't know actors were supposed to be pampered. I don't want to use the word hazing, but man, they went through it." Training started late winter 2001. Southwest High School. Real band room. Real discipline. Actors showed up to set with red eyes. Some got sick. They did B12 shots just to keep going. Woke up at 4:30 in the morning. Drilled until their bodies gave out. Shay Roundtree, who played Big Rob the bass drummer, developed hard scar tissue on his abdomen by the end of filming. The weight and pressure of the drum against his body every single day literally changed his physiology. Nick Cannon and Leonard Roberts arrived 2 weeks before everyone else, each assigned their own drum coach. Head start on the suffering. Roberts built the Atlanta A&T Band from nothing. High school students from Southwest, college musicians from Clark, Atlanta, actors who couldn't hold a stick 8 weeks earlier. By the time cameras rolled, they looked like the real thing, because they'd been broken down and built back up like real band members. That's not method acting. That's transformation through trial by fire. Fact 15. Nick Cannon almost quit. This one doesn't get talked about enough. Nick Cannon, the star of the movie, almost walked away. The training was brutal. The pressure was intense. He was young, still finding himself as an actor, being asked to carry an entire film while learning an instrument he'd barely touched before. There were moments where he questioned whether he could do it, whether he was the right choice, whether he should step aside and let someone more qualified take over. His drum coach, Jason Price, talked him through it, reminded him why he was there, reminded him that Devon Miles wasn't supposed to be perfect. He was supposed to be learning, struggling, growing. Cannon stayed, pushed through, became Devon Miles. But it's a reminder that even the people we see succeeding on screen have moments of doubt, moments where they want to quit. The difference is they don't. Fact 16. The movie created real-world consequences. After Drumline came out, HBCU band programs saw a massive spike in interest. Enrollment in band programs increased. More students wanted to be part of that culture, but it also created tension. Some programs felt the movie didn't represent them accurately. Some felt it glamorized certain aspects while ignoring others. Some worried it reduced a rich, complex tradition to entertainment. Florida A&M's band director at the time had mixed feelings, grateful for the attention, concerned about the expectations it created. Southern's program faced similar challenges, students showing up thinking they knew what band culture was because they'd seen a movie. The film became a double-edged sword. It brought visibility but also misconception. It honored the culture but also simplified it. Real HBCU band members will tell you, Drumline is a good movie, but it's still just a movie. The real experience is harder, deeper, more meaningful than 2 hours can capture. Fact 17. The Drumline choreography changed hip-hop videos. After Drumline, you started seeing Drumline-inspired choreography everywhere. Music videos, halftime shows, award show performances, Beyoncé's Crazy in Love video, Missy Elliott's performances, Kiara's choreography, all influenced by the precision and energy of HBCU bands that Drumline brought to mainstream attention.
Before we talk about the HBCU Band of the Year contest, because I know
the movie created a visual language that permeated pop culture. The stick flips, the synchronized movements, the military precision combined with swagger. Choreographers started hiring HBCU band members as consultants. The culture that had existed for decades in black colleges suddenly became a mainstream aesthetic. Some people celebrated it. Some people called it appropriation. The truth is probably somewhere in between. But there's no denying Drumline's impact on how we see performance, choreography, and black excellence in motion. Fact 18. There were multiple injuries never shown. GQ's hand ripping open made it into interviews. But there were other injuries that didn't. Sprained ankles from the marching choreography, bruised ribs from drum harnesses, dehydration requiring IV fluids. One actor allegedly broke a finger during rehearsal and kept playing because they didn't want to lose their spot. The production was intense. The physical demands were real. These weren't just actors standing around delivering lines. They were performing choreography that actual athletes train years to master. The medical team on set was working overtime. Band-aids and ice packs became as common as script pages and call sheets. This wasn't just a movie production. It was a physical endurance test, and not everyone made it through unscathed. Fact 19. The sequel almost had a completely different plot. Drumline. A new beat came out in 2014, straight to VH1. Different cast, different story. But the original sequel pitch was wild. Devon Miles coaching a high school band.
At Southwest DeKalb High School in Metro Atlanta.
Sean Taylor as a rival college band director. A rematch 20 years in the making. Nick Cannon was interested. Leonard Roberts was interested. The studio wasn't. They wanted a younger cast, a fresh start, a story that didn't require the original actors. So we got a new beat, which, fine, it's entertaining. Alexandra Shipp is great in it. But imagine the sequel we could have had. The original cast returning, the rivalry continuing, the culture evolving. Maybe it's better that we didn't get it. Maybe some stories are perfect as standalone films. Or maybe we're still waiting for the sequel Drumline deserves. Fact 20. Morris Brown lost accreditation the same month Drumline released. December 2002. Drumline hits theaters. Audiences pack the seats. The film becomes a cultural phenomenon. $57 million at the box office. A rare A+ cinema score. That same month, Morris Brown College lost its accreditation. Financial scandal. Over $23 million in debt. Fraudulent enrollment schemes by former administrators. The institution that helped inspire the movie was collapsing in real time. The Marching Wolverines went silent. No more performances, no more championships, no more best band in the land. Enrollment dropped from 2,500 students to under 50 by 2018. The campus faced foreclosure. Bankruptcy came in 2012. Outkast wrote a song about the band, Morris Brown, from Idlewild in 2006, a tribute to what was already gone. As of 2026, Morris Brown is trying to bring the Marching Wolverines back. They need $5 million. The Drumline is silent, waiting for the resources to march again. Drumline made $57 million on a $20 million budget. Put HBCU band culture on the map for a generation. Nick Cannon became a mogul. Zoe Saldana became a superstar. Charles Stone III proved a commercial director could make real cinema. But the legacy isn't just box office numbers. It's every kid who picked up drumsticks because of this film. Every marching band that got a little more respect. Every halftime show that felt a little more important. Every HBCU that saw increased interest and enrollment. And it's the reminder that the institutions and people who create culture often struggle to benefit from it. Morris Brown gave Drumline authenticity.
Over the years, the competition has become slicker and much more glitzy. With reigning champion Morris Brown, you know what to expect.
Drumline gave Morris Brown visibility. But visibility doesn't pay the bills. It doesn't prevent financial collapse. It doesn't guarantee survival. One band, one sound, one movie that changed everything. 20 years later, Drumline still hits different because it was made by people who cared, people who sacrificed, people who bled for it, literally in some cases. The next time you watch it, remember, those aren't just actors. Those are people who went through boot camp, who tied drumsticks to their hands at night, who played through injuries and illness and exhaustion. That's real HBCU band members in the background. Real institutions that poured their pride into a Hollywood production. Real culture translated to film. And somewhere in Atlanta, Morris Brown's drums sit silent, waiting for the day they can march again. That's Drumline. Not just a movie, a moment, a movement, a legacy. One band, one sound, forever.